Welcome, everyone, to Black and White with Brian Rundle and Lana Quest. Right now, it is just me. I'm not sure if Lana's going to be able to join me tonight or not. She said if she can, she will jump in. So obviously, we know when Lana jumps in, she could jump in anytime and we could figure it out from there. But we have obviously a lot to get to tonight. We have 2 weeks. It is a fortnight until the election. And I know there's a lot of anxiety out there. There's a lot of excitement. As you can see here on my Boston Celtics shirt, let me just first start by saying, please, if you're in the comments, don't say anything about the Celtics game. I am recording that. It is opening night. The world champion Boston Celtics open up their season tonight. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about my sports teams. Probably none of you care. I don't care that you don't care because I'm going to talk about for just a brief minute because that's how excited I get about them. But anyway, I voted yesterday in my state of Florida. And some of you may say, ain't going to make a difference in Florida. And there are a lot of people saying, not so fast. Don't count Florida out as something that is just a foregone conclusion for Donald Trump. He won the last election by 4 points. And this election has a couple of amendments on the ballot that may draw some more people like me out to vote. In fact, I already know a couple of people who probably otherwise would not have voted are going out there, and they are definitely voting in this election for two different reasons. One, marijuana is on the ballot for the state of Florida and legalizing marijuana. And the second one, and most important, is going to be the abortion amendment that Floridians and certainly a lot of women and people and men who care about women and their rights are going to be voting on that as well. So, keep an eye on Florida, but we're keeping an eye on every state because, a lot of the states that some people say Kamala should win, like Pennsylvania is going to be close, Wisconsin going to be close, Michigan going to be close. So we will see. I personally think it's going to be not as close as people think it is. And my God, look who it is. It is Lana Quest. Hi, Lana.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing well. I was just getting the show started. Wasn't sure if you were joining or not. I knew you were. You had some things going on there, but I'm glad you joined.
I'm here. How are you?
I'm doing well. I was just telling everybody how I voted yesterday.
Yay! That's what's
I sure
up.
did. And telling people not to count out Florida.
Never do that. Never. It's not over until it's over.
No, it definitely isn't. How are you feeling 2 weeks before the election?
I just want it over with, just ready to move on because we know for the next 2 weeks we're gonna hear like that maniac just say crazy, ridiculous, racist, rapey, bigoted penis, which I'm sick of it. Like just tired of it, just tired.
And that's what I've said it a million. First of all, the next 2 weeks going to feel like it's going to take forever. But then next thing you know, it'll be here. You know what I mean? It'll feel like it takes forever. Next thing you know, it'll be here. And we'll have a new president in 2 weeks. And it's going to be interesting. But we've said before, I said, we're playing these Donald Trump clips, and there's a very good chance that this is the last 2 weeks that we'll have to play this nonsense of him ever running for president again. There's going to be nonsensical Donald Trump clips after that, but they're going to be fun. They're going to be really fun for us to watch, Lana. The meltdown, just the craziness, knowing that at this point he's toast and there's nothing else he can do at this point. Absolutely nothing. He can't get his little militia people to put on their costumes and attack the Capitol. He can't have Elon Musk buy people and votes for him. He can't reach out to the Department of Justice. He cannot reach out even to the Supreme Court of the United States at this point anymore. It will be over for him. So, I'm excited about that prospect. I know you are too.
Yes.
But let's start the show. speaking of nonsensical, of course, Donald Trump was as nutty and as crazy as he's been this week. He, for some bizarre reason, the Scamburglar, I called him, decided that he was going to go work at McDonald's for 15 minutes. And is it because he's trying to prove that Kamala Harris did not work at McDonald's? I'm not really sure. And there's a connection to it because he didn't just do hey, I'm going to go work at McDonald's and show people I'm a regular guy. This was in connection to him stating that Kamala Harris didn't work at McDonald's, which, first of all, is such a stupid, ridiculous argument. You're making it sound like she said she was in Vietnam or something and wasn't.
Exactly. Like, what kid didn't work at retail or fast food?
Right.
One or the other. Like normal kids from working class families. I never did the fast food, but I did the retail. I was at Jordan Marsh, Gap, Tello's, all of those stores.
Yep.
I
went directly to the movie theater as soon as I was 16 years old. Boom, right to the movie theater. I had to work at the movie theater.
And that's cool. That's where my one of my kids works now. She won't give that one up. She went back to school. She's the one she wants to be a dental hygienist. She was working at a dental office, managing the front, and she went back to school. But she was doing that and working at the movie theater, where she has worked at since she was a kid. But she gets 2 free tickets every week.
Hell, I would do it. I would stay, even when I would graduate high school, went to college, I would do it on the weekends, just so I can, get the free tickets, all that stuff. Same thing.
But free tickets.
Your daughter, me, we were in the movie business. And it was, you were the cool kid. The cool kids worked at the movie theater. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, he, for some reason, has this thing where he's trying to call Kamala Harris out that she doesn't have receipts, or somebody doesn't have receipts that she used to work at McDonald's. But he was in the drive-through window. First of all, let's set this up properly. Turned out that this whole McDonald's thing was a big scam, which surprises nobody. They closed the restaurant down. He wasn't serving regular customers. He was serving fans and people that were already set up. They wanted all these people down and, made sure they checked security. And he went in there behind the fry counter and said something to the effect that he was happy to see that people weren't putting the fries in the thing with their hands, that they actually scoop them into a thing. So that made him feel good. He's almost 80 years old and does not know that you don't put the fries in the thing with your hand. I mean, even if you've never been to McDonald's.
I know common sense would tell you, like, it would be hot, or why would you just do that? Because ew, nasty. Just like ew, nasty for the person eating, and ew, nasty because who wants all that grease and salt on their hands?
Right.
It's just so weird.
So anyway, it's a whole weird setup, but here he is having a mini press conference in the drive-through window. And the first question, and it's funny because he's supposed to be going there as the regular guy for the regular worker. And he was asked about paying these people what they're getting paid and if they should raise the minimum wage. And here, of course, was his answer.
Raised.
Well, I think these people work hard. They're great. And I just saw something, a process that's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see. These are great franchises and produce a lot of jobs, and it's great. And great people work in here, too.
Minimum wage is $7 recently increased.
So, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you notice how he heard the question again and then went over to somebody else because he doesn't want to answer the question about increasing minimum wage. He wants nothing to do with that.
Which is because let's just back up for a minute. So the people answering the questions were not even fake customers. It looked like they were the press that he called.
The press was there. It was the press.
Those were the ones asking the question. So it's like he fakes a McDonald's work visit, fakes the people in the drive-through, and then the press asks him questions that he doesn't answer. Like, this is just, what the fuck is that? Like, that's so stupid. I don't even why.
It's nonsense. It's Donald thinks that anywhere he goes and everywhere he goes, he's the star. And no matter what he says, people just listen and say that, you know, whatever he says is amazing. And he thinks he could just wing everything. And in some respects, he can, because he's gotten this far throughout his entire life, just winging it, really not knowing anything, but still somehow finds the right people to buy into his fucking crazy shit. It's mind-blowing. It is literally mind-blowing. I've said this before, Lana, forget about intelligent people like the one in that box and the one in this box. I'm talking about just somebody with at least a 7th grade education. How does anybody listen to this guy and thinks he has any bit of intelligence? Any bit?
That's what I've been asking myself all week, because it's gotten worse this week. And I keep seeing, like, even like him in the barbershop with the Hispanic men. I'm like, okay, is this staged? Because are they fucking stupid? Like, he's literally saying the dumbest shit ever to them. Like, they're asking questions about getting rid of the federal tax. And this episode was like, yeah, we could do that. We could just do tariffs. Like, it's just like, are y'all dumb? He's like, yeah, we did it in the 1800s and everything was great. It's like, where the fuck were y'all motherfuckers in the 1800s? You wasn't here. Like, your people was not here making all this money that Trump is talking about in the 1800s. Like, I don't. Why?
And then he patronizes the guy saying, you're a smart guy. That was a smart question. And it's just like, dude.
It's just so disgusting. It's so, like, it's like I'm mad at his followers and these people who want to vote for him. But I'm also, like, disgusted with him, because it's like any opportunity, like, you can see the playbook that he's using, and it's so fucking crazy. It's like he uses men's fear of not being masculine enough against them. He's using that, right? Like, that's the crazy thing, and he knows it. He's like, I'll get a bunch of fucking weak men, the low-hanging fruit, and them fuckers will eat me and Elon up.
There's absolutely no question. That is the funniest part, is the men who think they are the tough guys really are the weakest. And if you buy into Donald Trump as a tough guy or a strong man, then you are the weak man. You are a very weak-minded and weak individual if you buy into the fact that he's the tough guy, strong man. He's just a professional wrestler. These professional wrestlers, as athletic as they are, they really don't beat each other up. They talk a lot, and everybody's favorite wrestler is generally based on not how they wrestle, but how they talk. And that's exactly what Donald Trump is. He's a professional wrestler, and it's all phony. It's all fake, you know, everything. And the fact that people still buy into it when you know it's fake, it's just, it's mind-blowing. Right.
Did you hear Obama's first speech? Let me put this on, actually, as we're talking about Obama. This afternoon in Wisconsin. And he talked about this. He was like, I mean, it was one of his best speeches ever. But he was talking about, like, you know, really, come on. This guy is selling $100,000 watch.
Right.
Who does that? Like, he's not doing it for your benefit. He's doing it for his benefit. So doesn't that strike you as odd? Like, seriously, like, he's selling a Bible to you for $60 that you can get for free. That doesn't strike you as odd? Like, it's his benefit. It's the Trump brand benefit, and something's not connecting that. It's not for you. You don't benefit. It's just bizarre.
It is connecting, though, Lana, because I had a show I did one Friday night, and it's exactly basically what I said. If you are voting for Trump at this point, I have to question one of two things. I have to question your intelligence, or I have to question your motive. And the motive, I think, is probably more prevalent than the intelligence, even though there are a lot of people with low intelligence. And I'm not saying it to be mean. I mean, Donald Trump literally said, I liked the poorly educated people.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why he likes poorly educated people, because he loves taking advantage of them. These are people who go through their entire lives. And again, I actually, have sympathy for these people. And they've gone through their entire lives not feeling heard, not feeling relevant. And for some reason, this loudmouth New Yorker comes in and makes them feel relevant for whatever reason it is. And that goes back to the motive part. Sometimes the motive part concerns me because it's based on a hatred of people not like them. And that's basically what it comes down to. So, I mean, it seems 101-ish, but it's sad and it sucks that it does come down to that. But one more clip from him at his little McDonald's press conference. This is him being asked, of course, if he will accept the results of the election, and gives his standard answer.
Will you accept the results of the election?
Yeah, sure. If it's a fair election.
Yeah, sure.
Always accept it if it's got to be a fair election. We're leading in all the polls now. We're leading in every swing state, and we're doing well. And it's no, I don't think so. In fact, they just said an RCP said we're 93.2% chance of winning. I think that's pretty good.
I don't know what he was citing as a 92% chance of winning. I think, did he say RCP, Real Clear Politics? Is that what he was talking about?
Yeah,
because I assure you, Real Clear Politics did not have him as a 96% chance.
I don't even think Fox News would say that.
They of course they wouldn't. Again, Donald Trump is this. I just went to go see that movie, The Apprentice. Do you know about that movie? So yeah. So it's about his relationship with Roy Cohn, his attorney back then, and basically where he developed this whole personality. I lost Lana. It just disappeared from me. But anyway, we went to just go see that movie, and it's about his relationship with Roy Cohn, how he developed this whole personality of just never say you lost and always just.
I don't know what happened. I got kicked all the way out.
Yeah, I was gonna say you just kind of.
Yeah, and it said, oops. I'm like, oops, what?
Sorry about that. But anyway, I was just talking about the movie and where he got his persona from. And, it got so out of control that him and Roy Cohn even had, a falling out there for a little while, because Donald was, trying to out Roy Cohn, and and this is who this guy is. This is who he's been his whole life. And, again, it has worked for him. He has failed forward somehow his entire life. And hopefully there's 2 weeks where the brick wall finally is built. The wall we've always really wanted to have built is this one. This brick wall where Donald finally smashes right into it.
I hope so.
Maybe 15 years too late, but it's here. Okay, you alluded to this a little bit earlier, Lana. This is behavior of men that I will not understand ever. But Donald Trump, for some bizarre reason, when he was speaking at, I believe it was an Arnold Palmer golf course, he decided to honor Arnold in a certain way. And I don't know. I find it strange, and we'll talk about it after the clip.
But Arnold Palmer was all man, and I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. But this is a guy that was all man. This man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God.
Right.
That's unbelievable. I had to say it. We have women that are highly sophisticated here.
By the way, there's a kid in the background. What about the children? But anyway, that has always been, I've never really understood that from dudes, where they're bragging about the size. First of all, I wouldn't even understand dudes bragging about their own size, but dudes bragging about the size of another man's penis is really bizarre behavior to me.
I have never heard that until he did that. I've never heard a man boast about somebody else's penis.
Yep. It's very, I don't get it.
And the people in the background, they just fucking laugh like I'm just.
Yeah.
He's just speechless. Like, what the fuck is wrong with 46% of America? Y'all are fucking stupid. It's just, why is that funny? Like, why is that funny? And men back there, like,
yeah. I here's the thing. I really don't give a shit about the size of any man's penis. I really don't. I don't care. There's also this
fuck.
There's also this really strange thing dudes do sometimes when they want to, like, if they're going to fight a dude, or if they want to talk shit to him, they use a lot of gay references on what they're going to do to him. And it's this thing like, I'm going to manhandle you and show you, that kind of weird thing. But it's just like, it's a bizarre route to take.
Right.
To put another man down is to have gay sex with him.
Right. It's like on one end, they want to be like, oh my God, you're gay, you're a sissy. But then when they want to be tough, they use gay references for power.
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. It's like, well, it's just toxic. Toxic masculinity.
And that's really what it comes down to, is people who are not really, that secure in their own bodies, in their own minds. And for some reason, all this stuff, it makes them feel like,
well, now we know why he doesn't like Obama.
Correct. Right.
And Obama walks around like he's just the man in all aspects of his life. So
absolutely. And if anybody watching this says, well, what about Obama? He was referring to Donald Trump's penis size. That's different.
Right.
He wasn't bragging about another man's penis size. He was doing that. And I would imagine that Barack Obama, that's not something he normally does, but he knows just how easy it is to get under the skin of that child. So all you have to do is say something like that will get to him, because that's not his normal thing. He wouldn't normally do this.
Exactly. But it's also a thing to say about somebody who would be obsessed with sizes. Like a man who's obsessed with sizes, that's when you'd be like, oh my God, he got small dick energy. So like that's a thing. But a man to be like, oh my God, did you see that dude's dick in the shower? My God. Like,
I said, no, I didn't take my time to look, but whatever, bro. It's a strange thing, man. I don't get it. I mean, I'm sure there's some MAGA dudes. Oh man, Lana, my show Friday night, I was bombed with MAGA. I mean, bomb. Baby Juggernaut, she's here. She'll tell you. Yeah. Hey, Baby Juggernaut. Yeah, it was weird. Extra weird, no question about it. But thank you, Baby Juggernaut. She was the only voice of reason on Friday night show. All right, so we're talking about masculinity. Here's somebody who is actually masculine. This is a clip I didn't have a chance to play last week, but this is Colin Allred in his debate with Ted Cruz, who is another one of these guys who thinks he's masculine and has zero masculinity at all. I mean, I can't think of anything manly about this guy except his very strange beard. But, he was talking and really kind of put Ted Cruz in his place, because they were talking about January 6th, which both men were there. And you're going to hear the stories of both men from Colin Allred on how they reacted on that particular day.
You can't be for the mob on January 6th and for the officers. You can't. And it's not funny, because you're a threat to democracy.
Sure.
I was
Wipe
on
that
the Senate.
smile
I
off
was
your
on the House
face,
floor where
idiot.
we went through the votes. I remember when you objected to the results in Arizona. Y'all at home might remember where.
How does anybody vote for that guy? Look how
I
goofy.
don't know. I don't know. Or like, I just want to throw shit. Like, look at these two people. You're right. Just election after election, they actually put fucking Ted. Is it like muscle memory? And you're just like, that's who you know?
I guess, but you know, it's funny, Lana, because they say he's the most hated man in probably all of politics, and that includes his own party. His own party hates him. So, all right, let's let Colin finish schooling this idiot.
You were on January 6th, what you were doing. I know where I was, and I know where he was. I remember when they told us to reach under our seats for these gas masks. I didn't know we had, because they had deployed tear gas in the rotunda. The officers locked all the doors. We barred the doors the president walks through to deliver the State of the Union with furniture that we usually use to hold paper. And I texted my wife, Allie, who was 7 months pregnant with our son, Cameron, and at home with our son, Jordan, who wasn't yet 2. Whatever happens, I love you. And I took off my suit jacket, and I was prepared to defend the House floor from the mob. At the same time, after he'd gone around the country lying about the election, after he'd been the architect of the attempt to overthrow that election, when that mob came, Senator Cruz was hiding in a supply closet. And that's okay. I don't want him to get hurt by the mob. I really don't. This election is his accountability. You cannot just be patriotic when your side wins. If for the first time in 250 years, this project of ours, this shared American project, that we did not have a peaceful transfer of power, the folks responsible have to be held accountable. That's why Liz Cheney has endorsed me, has got involved in this campaign, and is saying to Texans everywhere, do not put Ted Cruz back in a position of authority.
Absolutely, and that's the end of the clip there. But there's absolutely no question that if Ted Cruz was in trouble and Colin Allred was standing anywhere near him, he would be begging Colin for his help. But this is what they want to portray. They want to portray the scary tough guy, but I'm just telling you, I don't know anything tough about any of these people. Ted Cruz, Donald Trump, like the Steve Bannons who runs his mouth all the time.
Even Mike Flynn is
Mike Flynn. Yeah. I just
like, you know who, like Mike Flynn and some of those military men, they remind me of guys who like got bullied when they were young, probably.
Yeah.
Didn't like them.
Dad was very, very strict and very.
So they joined the military so people could think that they were tough guys, but they're really punks inside. It's the same with a lot of these cops and police brutality. These guys are not tough guys in their neighborhoods and their hoods. They're the punks of the world, and they wanted a badge so that people would have to listen to them. And when people don't listen to them, i.e., you pull someone over and they don't get out their car when you tell them to, they fucking have a fit because don't you see this badge?
And the permission to do that will be off. I mean, it is as bad as it will ever be if Donald Trump does somehow win and they, continue this road of, and that's part of the reason why he does that with the police officers. He does that with, people who have the guns, people who have the power. He makes it sound like he really gives a shit about those people, which if you're a police officer, if you are somebody that was or is in the military, I hope by now, at least the military people know he does not care about you. How many stories do we have to hear over and over and over and over again about his disdain for people who were in the military? He has said it in front of cameras. He has said it in front of people that you have no reason to believe that they are lying about it.
We are talking about Vanessa. Oh, are you talking about Vanessa? That what he said about what's her name? Gillian, the military woman that was found murdered in 2020.
I didn't see that.
Okay, so you remember her, right? She was missing for like 2 months.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So Atlantic Reporting came out and said that, so as Trump does, he exploits any military high profile death, whatever. So he tried to exploit this, met with the family. This is the part I don't really understand. It said he would pay for the funeral, which is odd because I would think the military would pay for a funeral because I remember they found her dismembered. But he said that.
But was she in the military when she was dismembered? Is that maybe why they didn't pay for it? Or maybe they did, and that's just Donald Trump saying he was going to pay for it, knowing he didn't have to. But sorry to interrupt.
Right. Could be right. The military would have, and he's like, I'll take care of it because that was part of the exploitation of the situation. So Mark Meadows brings him the bill, and the bill is $60,000. And and he basically said, what did he say? It doesn't take $60,000 to bury a fucking Mexican.
Yeah, actually, I just read that before we came on, but I wasn't paying attention to. I just saw real quick. I think I was scrolling through Twitter, and I didn't know what it was about. Oh boy. Yeah, no, that's yes. So because I barely knew about it, and because you brought it up, yes, those are the exact kind of things that I am talking about. And anybody in the military, and I said this on the last show, I have been seeing people in the military, more and more of them starting to back away from Donald Trump. I still think there's too many people who are in the military and still believe his nonsense and still back him up. And it's really a shame because we're the ones who are offended by what he has to say about them, and they are still voting for him.
Right.
I mean, it just makes no sense at all. And again, that goes back. I have to question one of two things: the intelligence or the motive. And the intelligence, almost you have to give them a pass. But the motive, there's no pass there. No pass. So speaking of saying things over and over and over and over again, Laura Trump, for some reason, was on the Breakfast Club, and they brought up Donald Trump and his years of racism. And Laura Trump decided that she was going to defend this. I don't know if you've seen this clip, Lana. Have you?
I didn't know she even went on this. So yeah, show me, please.
This will be a treat for you. And then I played some clips last week on my show, when the one you weren't on, with Kamala on the Breakfast Club. Did you see her on the Breakfast Club? I want to ask you a few questions about that, but let's play this clip.
People feel that Trump is racist. And what do you say to that? In 73, of course, it was when he got sued for not renting to African Americans, and 89 when he took out the ad in the paper, and even saying Obama wasn't born here and show his birth certificate, and there's numerous things. So what do you say to that?
Well, I think that's ridiculous. I've known this man for 16 years, and you can go to each of those incidents, and there was never any proof of anything with the houses that you're talking about.
He settled out for that, though.
Yeah, right? they settled that. And there was no admission of anything there. Central Park 5. There were so many people. You had a governor, Democrat, DA who prosecuted the guys, and they admitted to it. There were a lot of people in New York
they were
at that time.
exonerated and freed, and there was never an apology, never sorry, never a my bad.
However, I will say that you have to look at somebody and what they actually have done. And Donald Trump really was very beneficial to the Black community when he was in the White House. I will say I've never seen this man say a racist thing. I think the attacks are fairly... Why is that funny, Charlamagne?
I'm just like... it's hysterical. But I mean,
no, Charlamagne,
because people act like there's no such thing as Google, or we don't have TV.
Right?
Yeah, I mean that's a good response. That's what it is that I've said this before, Lana. They gaslight each other, but when they talk to regular people who understand, like, what do you think you're going to come into the Breakfast Club and tell me that he's not
a racist? I wish they would have pushed back on her. They were very polite with her. He just laughed at her, which is, I guess you don't want to make it toxic so that people don't come on there, but.
And maybe they did. I didn't see the full interview.
Oh, I would have been like, what policies? What are you talking about? He's beneficial. He didn't even have anyone in his administration that was Black other than freaking Uncle Tommy Benny Carson. What?
Well, there's one thing that's clear. Laura Trump is obviously a very delusional person, because I think she is somebody that thought, I can go in the Breakfast Club and talk with these guys. I know how to talk to these guys at the Breakfast Club. This is a woman who thinks she thinks she's going to have a singing career. I mean, she thinks she's a great singer. So she's so out of touch, just like the whole Trump family.
Probably told her to do that. You don't see Kamala worked at McDonald's. Trump is at McDonald's. Kamala went on the Breakfast Club. You need to go on the Breakfast Club because I ain't going on the Breakfast Club with them N-words. You can go on the Breakfast. You going on the like that's just this crazy.
You know what's crazy? I don't think Trump knows that she was on. What do you think about that? I don't know if he knows that she was on. I think that she thought that she was going to counter Kamala and not even bother Donald because.
Yeah, by the way, here's my mixtape.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hey, do you mind playing my new? I got a new album. It's dropping November 18th. Sure, Laura. We'll get right to it. Oh, she's so delusional. But I wanted to ask you, because this is a point I brought up on the last show talking about Kamala Harris. So I think people think that Kamala Harris goes into the Breakfast Club and just is going to be an automatic softball interview. And and you correct me if I'm wrong or if you think I'm wrong on this. I think, people think that it's just going to be a softball interview. I think there's actually more pressure for Kamala Harris to go into something like the Breakfast Club than it is on some of the other ones, because I think a lot of the Black community want her to win, but I don't think they just feel like they're going to hand it to her. They want to still hear, and they still want to get the sense that, hey, we're not voting for you just because you're Black. We're voting for you because you're qualified, and we want to know why. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Was there anything wrong about that?
No.
No? All right. I mean,
you want me to say more? I don't know. It's like, no, I mean, there is pressure on her. People think, I don't know what they think about the Black community. It's like, for us to be the leading Democrats that vote like at the highest is the Black woman, the Black community on whole. Because again, I think we mentioned this the last show. Black men voted for Hillary Clinton at higher rates than white women did. So we gotta stop acting like Black men don't be out here voting and paying attention. A lot don't. Again, those are always the low-hanging fruit. But Black people also, because we are Black, we have this thing where we just don't want to vote for someone because they are Black, right? Like you have to prove it. And Kamala, being Black, actually knows that. So she knows that she has to work for the Black vote because she's also privileged. So she's come from a middle-class background, but that's not where she's at now. So she definitely has to prove, no, that's still who I am. I can relate. I understand these things, right? They expect nonsense from Trump, the rich guy, but they expect more. It's almost like the media, how they expect so much more from Kamala.
Right.
It's the same with the Black community. And it's almost unfair to a certain extent.
It's not almost unfair. It's completely unfair. Yeah. Regardless, I mean, forget about Kamala Harris. Wow. Just anybody against Donald Trump. It is unfair the way this has been treated.
I guarantee you the questions that Kamala was asked, I mean, granted, she is running for president, but I guarantee that interview with Charlemagne was way tougher than Lord Trump jokey laughing about on there. It was hard.
I was going to ask you, what do you think I think it might have been tougher and more pressure on her during that interview than the Bret Baier interview, to be honest.
60 Minutes do. Because she had to dispel rumors about herself, and then she had to do that balancing act that Obama had to do too, because there is a segment of the Black community who expect only things for Black people to get done, and that's just not how it works. and I understand where it comes from, right? It comes from the background of like being enslaved, not having anything, reparations, like there's a lot. So we feel like, we gave a lot, bodies, families broken up, land, right? Wealth taken away from us. Like you cannot deny that. Generational wealth gone. All that wealth that those white men had back in those days were them stealing farms, right? And they continued and had that wealth and had those homes. So I understand why the Black community is like, what are you going to do for us? Right?
Yeah.
Like I get why that is. But like she explained it to them so well. I was really proud of her because she was able to get out to them first. Hey, there's a lot of disinformation about me, right? Like they actually, when I was the DA, they called me too progressive because of these things. But she also was able to do that thing where it's like, the Biden administration has been able to lower the cost of insulin.
Right.
Who is impacted the most from that? The Black community, right? Who needs these loans for businesses the most? Because we don't get the Black community, doesn't say we, the Black community does not get these business loans. I want to give it to, lower income people who struggle with that. That would be the Black community the most. It will be more impactful to you. So she was able to do that. And I thought that was perfect that she was there so she can explain, because they did ask her those hard questions. Were you locking up Black men? What you gonna do for us? Like they were asking her that stuff, and I'm glad she was able to talk about it.
What was really good in that interview too is that she was able to take control of that interview for the most part. She was very relaxed, and it was like, hey, I'm here to answer your questions, and I'm not coming in cocky, but I'm just letting I'm not afraid to answer these questions because I believe that you're going to like what I have to say, and I get to clear the air on some of the things that you may have heard that is not true. So
absolutely. That part was like, I would say that was probably one of the most important things ever, because even if a lot of people didn't see it, or the people who need to see it, maybe it didn't sway everyone's mind, but her dispelling that she was not locking Black men up, that she was locking criminals up, people who committed crimes against the Black community, she was locking up, and sex traffickers and human traffickers and drug. I was locking those people up. I was trying to make weed legalized, right? Like, so she was able, so even if she got one person, two people, those people could go back and share that information with two other people or one other, and it can go on and on. So now she starts to dispel the rumors, who was probably started by fucking Republicans because they knew this woman was going to be powerful anyway.
That's exactly right. And like I said, I think she did a great job. And hopefully, just anything that she does from this point, you just hope moves the needle to where it is a blowout, to where we don't really have to worry about any of this stuff. So, I think that she's doing a good job going all over the place. She's willing to even go on places like Joe Rogan. She'll say she'll go on that, which again isn't really a tough interview. It's but it reaches an audience. And I hear people say, oh, she's willing to go on Joe Rogan, she's scared. That's not what it's about. What it's about is reaching the audience, reaching the people who might potentially be voting for her or not vote for her, that do not know who she is. And it gives them the opportunity. And Joe Rogan's not somebody that's gonna he's not going to beat her up. I mean, from my understanding, I'm not a listener, but from what I understand, he's very cordial and very nice to his guests. And, he might have some, because he's a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, so he might throw some of that in there. But, just the way she responds to everybody and everything tells me she can handle anything. In fact, she's so good and so quick on her feet. She was at a rally last week, and there were a couple of Trump supporters who tried to interrupt her, and it did not work out very well for them.
at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
Bye. Fuck out of here. Yeah. Come on. Listen. This woman is a professional arguer. She knows how to do this. I said before, when she was in the Senate hearings, could not wait for her to go. That I was excited when it was her turn because I knew whoever was sitting there having to answer her questions were going to shit their pants. And it was so much fun to watch. She's so good. And you can tell she is feeling it now. She feels set. She is settled in. This is her show now. And hopefully in the next 2 weeks, she just continues to sprint so fast again that it just, we get to a point where we're going, oh shit, it's 10:15 and they're already calling this election. That's awesome.
Well, I don't know, because Wisconsin's like, we're not going to have our results until like 2 a.m.
All right. Well, don't listen. I'm still staying. I'm still sticking with my prediction that we're going to know by 11:05 on 11:05 who the president is for the most part. I actually think they'll name her because when they announce Florida, when they announce North Carolina, it's pretty much over from there.
I mean, yeah, she gets Florida because they won't know Pennsylvania that night. I don't think that never, because last election, it took.
I think that's the last one they were waiting on, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That was like the weekend because I remember Morning Joe was on the weekend. I'm like, they
Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I'm like, they must know something. Why is Morning Joe on?
Right. Yeah. Like, what the hell is going on? But
exactly, they know it's coming down. Yeah.
Last few clips here, Lana. Let's just talk real quick again, because we've talked about this before, just how great the president that we have is right now. And just what a good, decent human being he is. He understands that Kamala cannot go out to different shows. And it's not because she does not love him. It's because this is just the way it has to be. And if she has to separate herself from him, he completely understands it. And this is him expressing himself as to how much he understands it. And this is just why everybody that loves this man loves him even more. Then this is exactly why.
Every president has to cut their own path. That's what I did. I was loyal to Barack Obama, but I cut my own path as president. That's what Kamala's going to do. She's been loyal so far, but she's going to cut her own path. How to further economic growth. How to make a border more secure. How to make health care even more affordable. How to make housing more affordable. How to make child care and elder care more affordable. All of which, if we do, actually grows the economy and cuts the deficit. Folks, Kamala will take the country in her own direction. And that's one of the most important differences in this election. Kamala's perspective on our problems will be fresh and new. Donald Trump's perspective is old and failed and, quite frankly, thoroughly, totally dishonest.
And I'll tell you what.
I love that.
It's just such a noble thing to do because, first of all, he's done something that really nobody in the history of the country has ever done. And now, instead of being bitter, instead of being embarrassed, he is literally almost like a dad, like just rooting for this woman, he's paying
attention. He's paying attention because he saw somewhere along the line that she was so loyal that she couldn't say anything against his policies, and someone must have brought it to his attention. So that's what I mean. That's just it's like a dad, right?
Like I said, it is. He's protective of her. Yeah. She's protective of him because she doesn't want to say anything bad. And quite frankly, because we're in such a stupid news cycle, there's very little to say bad about Joe Biden's presidency. We still have a country full of people who still do not understand that the inflation had nothing to do with Joe Biden, that inflation would have existed under Donald Trump, would have existed under Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. It doesn't matter. You still have these people who don't understand it. You still have a country of people who still think inflation is high. You still have a country of people who think that we were energy independent under Donald Trump. We've been more energy independent in this country. Last year broke the record, and this year we're more energy independent than we were last year. So we have a country full of people who do not understand this stuff. But if Kamala says we did everything right when she answered the question, what would you do differently in the 4 years? And she says, I can't think of anything. What the fuck is wrong with that answer? They bombed her.
What is wrong? What is wrong with it? They're doing spectacular. Like, well, what else? I would handle Israel differently. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Now we're just nitpicking at this point because this isn't like we're in the 4th year. We're like at the end. What are we talking about? You know, I'm glad though Obama started doing is like he came up today, talk about my fucking economy,
100%.
my fucking economy, my health care.
I'll tell you the only thing that's frustrating about that, it's 4 years too late. And I'm not talking about just Obama. The news cycle should have been saying this. The Democrats should have been saying this. And this idea now that we're scared to death to say that we have a great economy, Biden can say it kind of now. Kamala Harris is not allowed to say that because the perception is that the economy is not well. The economy is as good now as has ever been in American history.
Lying. Like they're just literally lying. Yes, do we? Hey, I'm broke too. I'm not blaming it on the economy. You know what I'm going to blame it on? Fucking credit cards. Why do I got 3? Because I swear to God, every month when I got to pay those things, my freaking afterpay, I'm like, oh, God damn it. Right? Like, that's on me. It's on me.
Well, they said, it's one of the stories and one of the things they like to say is that, credit card debt is the highest it's ever been in the history of the country, which is true. But credit card debt was really had to have happened because of what happened because of COVID. I'm just promising you, COVID never happened. None of this, the high inflation, the higher gas prices at one point.
This high because it just jumped so high so fast.
Correct. I'll tell you what else would have never happened. The low interest rates and the low gas prices had COVID never hit. And I'm afraid to say it. Donald Trump probably would still be president had COVID never hit because there is the perception that he led this great economy. So he would have won the next election.
Right.
So, it's frustrating, to have.
And prices are low too. And people still complain, well, the price of gas and the price of groceries. It's like the price of gas? It's low. Like I just bought oil. I'm like 100 gallons, $300. That's it for Massachusetts, and it's almost November.
Right. So there's this other thing. I'm not going to get too much into it because I saw a little bit about it and I can't speak 100% intelligently on it. But there is something to do with the gas prices with Donald Trump's 2018 or 19 OPEC deal that he made, and when it ran out. That's when gas prices went up. So there's this guy on TikTok and Twitter who is like an expert in this field, and maybe on the next show I'll have it so he can explain it better than I can. But there is something to this OPEC deal that Donald Trump did when he was president, and then when it ran out in 2022, that's when the gas prices shot back up. So that's something we'll talk about another time. But last couple clips here, Lana, we were talking about the toxic masculinity. I don't know if I'll let the whole clip play. Do you know who Dave Bautista is? Okay, so Dave Bautista was a professional wrestler, one of the WWE wrestlers.
Okay, and he lost all that weight. Yeah. That guy.
Okay. He lost the weight. Yeah. So, but Jimmy Kimmel had a little segment on his show.
I think.
Who?
No, he doesn't. No,
Who?
go ahead. Sorry. Keep going.
Were you saying Jimmy Kimmel follows you?
No.
Oh.
No. I wish that would be.
I was about to boot you right out of here if that was the case.
No way. I would have bragged already on that shit.
That's true. But Jimmy Kimmel did it was basically a PSA, public service announcement of Dave Bautista about Donald Trump and his masculinity. I'll let it play for a little while so you get the gist, but I don't know if you've seen this, Lana, but it is fantastic.
Fellas, we gotta talk. A lot of men seem to think that Donald Trump is some kind of tough guy. He's not. I mean, look at him. He wears more makeup than Dolly Parton. He whines like a baby. The guy's afraid of birds. Donald Trump had his daddy pay a doctor to say his little feet hurt so he could dodge the draft. Look at that gut, like a garbage bag full of buttermilk. He sells imaginary baseball cards pretending to be a cowboy fireman. Guy's barely strong enough to hold an umbrella. I mean, look how he drinks water. Like a little pink chickadee. He's got jugs, big ones, like Dolly Parton. He cheats at golf. He creeps around beauty pageant dressing rooms. You know that little dance he does? He looks like he's jacking off a pair of giraffes. He's moody, he pouts, he throws tantrums.
No, get those lights off!
He acts like a 5-year-old behind the wheel of a truck. He bends over for Putin. He's cattier on social media than a middle school mean girl. The guy needs help walking downhill. Almost there, Grandma. So this November, let's stop kidding ourselves. Donald Trump is afraid of rain, of dogs, of windmills, Merle Street, and being laughed at.
I said I was going to play a part of it. It's almost done. I'm going to let it play out because if any MAGA people are watching this, I want them to see the whole thing.
Isn't it past your jail time?
Mostly, he's terrified that real red-blooded American men will find out that he's a weak, tubby toddler.
Mommy, take me home, Mommy. I want to go home.
What's wrong, tough guy? Did someone grab you by the Boy, you bitch.
I guess you can still see the run.
Beautiful. That is just absolutely perfect. That was hilarious. Okay. 2 more clips, Lana. We've talked this whole show, and we probably just could have started the show off, played this clip, and let this gentleman explain the entire election and our thoughts on Donald Trump. We went 58 minutes. This is like a little over a minute. This is probably what we should have done and got the hell out of here. But here's the great Snoop Dogg.
Politics real quick. Now, we all hate... I apologize. Nah, I really don't apologize, man, because a lot of my fans get mad at me when I talk bad about him. But I don't. I think it's safe to say most people in our culture do not.
Well, you need to know that. You need to know that a lot of your fans is racist. Ain't no fucking way around. Don't even try to put no.
I don't even want to put anything around.
I do. I don't give a fuck. I tell him straight up, motherfucker. If you like that nigga, you motherfucking racist. Fuck you and fuck him. Now what?
All right.
Draw the line, nigga. He drew the lines.
Exactly.
He drew the motherfucking lines. Before him, there were no lines. Everybody was everybody. We respected everything. We didn't trip. But nigga, when you drew the line, nigga, start pointing motherfuckers out and saying, nigga, fuck y'all then, nigga.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
You and them.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking
Kanye
about
too,
Donald Trump.
nigga. Don't forget about him too. Fuck you too.
Yeah, I mean, Snoop is first of all a national treasure, and second of all, I mean that's how you do it. Say no, I'm not.
I thought he was liking him like 3 months ago. I'm so confused. With
Snoop. What Snoop did, and what Snoop did is that Snoop's kind of a business. He didn't say I endorsed Donald Trump. Here's the basically somebody asked him, and he said, "No, I don't have a problem with it." It wasn't like an endorsement, from what I remember. It wasn't anything like that.
Right.
Because we played the clip on the show.
I know, and I was just like, why are we being nice about Donald Trump? Like, I was just confused about Snoop. So
I think
now
I don't know if it was
flip side, because I can't do that game with races. You're fucking racist. I can't be like, yeah, I ain't got no problem with him. Like, what the fuck you think? Yeah, I got a problem with a racist. Like, all the time. Like, what?
Listen, that I don't blame you for, but you know, at least right now, Snoop has seen the light. And when somebody tries to say something, he cuts them right the fuck off and goes, nope, 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 nope. This is how it is. This is how I feel. But I don't know. I love Snoop. I'm a Snoop guy.
Geraldo Rivera saw the light too, so
Yes, he did. Hey, look, I mean, let me ask you, Lana, is it better for somebody to see the light at some point and come over from the darkness? Or, you know, because we don't, personally, because I've heard people say that. I see that on Twitter. I see that all the time. You know, fuck Liz Cheney, fuck this, fuck that. And I'm like, okay, I get what you're saying. And Liz Cheney isn't the greatest human being on the planet, but Liz Cheney is doing something.
No. After this, she's made up for all of the stuff that she's done because she's
that a lot of men won't do.
Yeah, she has went over the line to say, not only is she endorsing her, voting for her, she's literally traveling and doing rallies and talk and interviews with her. So I can't even say anything else bad about her. Well, it's policy is a policy.
Yeah, and I'm sure Liz Cheney might go Liz Cheney again at some point in the future.
Yeah. But she's helping us now. So
but where we're at now is, you know, like I said, I think at this point, anywhere where we could get help, because we all know how important this election is, how important it is that Kamala Harris wins, and not just her, but the Democrats take the House and take the Senate so they can actually pass some real laws and pass some things that will actually help the American people and not get tied up in all this nonsense. But we are 2 weeks away and we're going to end the show. But everybody knows at the end of the show, we play the MAGA loser of the week. We have actually one more or two more nominees until we name the winner. But this is MAGA loser. This one's in the dangerous category. This is one of these church pastors. I don't even know. His name is irrelevant, but this is him talking about the very low percentage of women who accuse men of rape and were not being truthful about it. This is what he has to say about them.
To occur, and the just penalties were to be enforced, you, the false accuser, is now put to death, and that's a public death. It's a public sentence, publicly carried out. Then the citizens of these United States of America, you know what they would do? Hashtag Me Too would end real fast. How do you false accusing? Playing the victim when you're actually not? Like, you know how to end that real fast? All you have to do is publicly execute a few women who have lied.
This seems to me like a dude who probably has raped somebody, saying that a woman who falsely accuses a man of rape should be put to death. Now, I truly believe anybody who falsely accuses anybody of anything heinous, there should be a punishment. But it's my understanding in rape cases that is an extremely low percentage of women. And second of all, basically what that is him telling all women, you better not say rape at all, because guess what? Somebody might find that you might think that you're lying about it. And if they do, guess what happens to you? So this is to silence women again. This is these church people who spend their entire lives, not all church people, by the way, not all pastors, not all, but there are people like this out there. And this is the MAGA sort of group of people that want Donald Trump to win badly, who want JD Vance to win badly, who clearly can't stand independent women. And this is what this is.
That's absolutely like this is 2024. This is where we're at. Like men really trying to control some women. Women must really be succeeding.
Yeah, that's a problem again for these loser dudes who have an issue with women, maybe, I don't know, getting more attention, or maybe are smarter than them, or are making more money than them, or whatever the case is. And that's what a lot of these bro podcast are about is taking your masculinity back, and and it's really about ripping on women who really would like to go out and date different guys and not date the same guy. They put them down as basically whores, and they should just serve me. I should be the one they are worshiping, and unfortunately they can't get them to do it because they're so insecure that I think a lot of women probably see through that, and that's where they're having their issues.
Yeah. Well,
anyway.
Ugh.
All right.
Hate these people.
Yeah. It's a hell of a time that we live in now. And, I said, when we were growing up, Snoop alluded to it and said there were times where we all just went about our business. And now we literally have family members and friends that we either don't talk to anymore, we look at differently, coworkers, all this stuff that we see them as, okay, we'll communicate in some way, but when we do, it's just different now. It's not the same feeling, and it sucks. And this is my hope, is that, we put an end to this in 2 weeks, and that a Republican Party kind of comes together and says, we got to end this, right? We've got to end this thing and get back on track.
Right. I hope so. Like, I really hope so.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take a while.
Yep. Well, that's bigger fish to fry. Again, we've got 2 weeks to go. Lana, will you be doing your show Thursday night?
I have a show tomorrow, and I'm going to be talking with Emma from Florida.
Oh, is that tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I will be talking to Emma. She is from Florida. She had a pregnancy as a result of a rape. She had the baby, and she is going to talk about more so the impact on a person, the trauma of one being impregnated by a rapist, and then two, actually having the child and having to deal with the aftermath, and how do you love this child? How do you deal with the child? Like the trauma, her trauma, the child's trauma, just all of that stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely be tuning into that show, and I suggest everybody else does. I've said it before. It's, something very close to Lana's heart, so I'm sure she's going to do an excellent job like she does every time she puts herself in front of a camera. So that
was going to be different because she's not going to be on camera because she's still hiding. So it's going to be me talking.
Did you figure out how you're gonna do that?
She'll just have her camera off.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'll just be like talking to a blank screen.
I think it's understandable. I think it's, obviously,
absolutely.
Nobody is going to go, well, I'm not going to watch this because I can't see her face. I mean, I would understand that anybody that would be watching that would be sympathetic to her story and understand why we're not going to see who she is. But I like I said, tune in tomorrow night. You said it is?
Yeah, tomorrow.
What time?
7:30.
7:30 tomorrow night. And I believe if that is the first of a series that you're doing.
That's the first one that has agreed.
Okay, gotcha. All right, gotcha. And if you could get more, you're going to. But we have our first one tomorrow night. Okay, cool.
Even if it goes after the election, this is still important.
Oh, of course, 100%.
Have to be out here, so.
Yeah, no question about it. Well, tune in tomorrow night at the Quest Show, 7:30 with Lana Quest. And then we'll be back on Tuesday night. I probably will do a show Friday night.
You've been doing them shows. I like the heck. I can barely get one in every 2 weeks.
I did it Friday night, and we'll finish up here soon. But Friday night was the Mets game ended. And the Mets won, so I was on a high. Real quick, they lost, and now they're out, so it's over for the Mets, unfortunately. And I'm very, very sad. But anyway,
sad for you. I'm like, oh my god, he's got to like mourn. I
appreciate it because Lana. I mean, people know how important to me. I don't even put the phone is nowhere near me during the game because I just get bombed with text messages, bombed, and I can't handle it. I can't. I'm just like, I'm focusing more on my phone than I am on the game.
That's
But
how I'm gonna be on November 5th. Like I'm
right.
I don't think I'm going to be able. I may take an edible and take my ass to bed. And it's like wake up the next morning. Like, did she do it? Did she do it?
Well, whether you do the show with me or not that night, we will certainly be communicating. But I was telling you is that after the Mets game, I didn't get on until 9:30. And I was just going. I didn't even know what the hell I was doing. I got in the car. It was basically just started going around and started driving until that's a metaphor, obviously, but I was just driving until I ran out of gas. And that was about almost 2 hours later. So I was answering literally every one of these morons who were commenting.
Drunk? That's hilarious.
It's fun for me though.
Can we just say fuck Elon on here because he's throttling. He's throttling like all of the tweets, everything.
No
Anything
question.
that says Trump on there, it's like I'm like, wait a minute, how the heck does a tweet get 6,000 views, right, or even 10, but 150 retweets? Like the math doesn't work on it, and he's definitely throttling anything election related, all of it. It's just not
Democrat, especially anything Democrat or pro Harris or anything pro Democrat. There's absolutely no question.
Yeah, and I googled it too. Like I went online. It's like, yeah, he's absolutely doing that. So you're not being seen by everyone. You're being seen by less people. That's what's going on.
There's no question about it. And by the way, if you want to do, since you brought up Elon Musk, do a quick Google because when I say this, it sounds, first of all, it sounds outlandish. It sounds like I'm the conspiracy theorist. It sounds like I'm out there. But there is absolutely something to the fact that you have people like Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Peter Thiel was partners with Elon Musk at one point with PayPal. And Peter Thiel, his boy is JD Vance. He is the one who basically is probably the one that, they keep saying Don Jr., but he's probably a real reason why he is the vice presidential candidate. And if anybody thinks that they're voting for Donald Trump, you're not voting for Donald Trump. You are voting for JD Vance, you're voting for Peter Thiel, and you're voting for Elon Musk, who are all there's
Oh my God, he said that today. Tim Walz said something about did you see Trump and his vice VP pick? Then he goes Elon Musk.
yeah. I mean, that's basically what it is. And nobody's going to convince me, along with the Mike Flynn's and all these guys of the world, that these people aren't in bed with Vladimir Putin in Russia too.
Absolutely.
So be very, very, very cautious about who you think you're voting for. I know you think you're voting for this tough guy who makes you laugh because he trolls libtards.
Yeah.
Things are not going to work out well for you. I promise you, if that guy wins and they win the House and the Senate, your life will not be good.
Like you're literally voting for a felon who kept
they don't care
in his toilet. Like it's just
well, you got to remember, Lana, he's not really a felon because it was a Democratic DA that went after him. Forget it, and because the jury was in New York. So of course, no way, nowhere would he have gotten a free. They would have, if it was in the heart of Alabama, the reddest county, and he was found guilty, they would still make up something.
They were like the Democrats shipped people into Alabama.
Yep. That's what it would be. So, all right, we got 2 weeks left. Please join Lana tomorrow night at 7:30 on the Quest Show. Set your notification bell. I'll be coming on, I think, Friday night, and then we'll be back Tuesday night for another live show 1 week before the election. Did you vote yet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh,
good.
yeah. Voted by mail. Already done. Everybody in the house.
Right. Beautiful. All right. Perfect. All right. Everybody go out there and vote. Please subscribe and like this show if you don't mind. Harris for president. That's what we need. We need to see that in 2 weeks. My guess is that we'll see it by 11 o'clock that night. Lana's a little bit more skeptical, but I think she's on the same page, and I think she thinks that we've got this. So don't make that face. Nope. You got it. You got it.
We got the North Carolina.
I already talked to and I'm surprised you haven't had this conversation yet, Lana, because all of us Democrats already have. I've already talked to George Soros. He's already programmed all the Dominion. I said to him, we're still live. Damn it. I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah.
Fuck, George is going to be pissed.
I know Soros.
Call him up and smooth it out for me, Lana, please. If you
I
don't
will.
mind.
I got his
All right.
personal number right.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Good night, Lana. Thank you, baby Juggernaut, as always.
Thank you, baby Juggernaut. You're the best.
Absolutely, indeed. Good night.